Well, just real quickly, I think to give you a little background on Product 360 and why I think Francis requested that we be here this evening is that we sort of have a unique approach to creative consulting. I myself am the creative director, and I work with a longtime designer. Karen and Sarah are product developers by nature. We bring in marketing partners like Trisha. We share a space with our photographer. We have a lot of copywriters that we work with. But basically we draft teams depending on what the project desires, or sometimes we work in-house for bigger teams that already have those people in place, and we're just really acting as a creative team. Ultimately, we don't feel like we're supporting sales, distribution, and really carrying marketing through when we don't have strategy starting from the beginning. So that's sort of what this is about tonight. So I loosely base this on Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and I chose 3 habits that really apply to launches. The first habit being seek first to understand and then be understood. I think this is really important, and where we like to work from a marketing place is really taking the consumer into the picture. Beginning with the end in mind, again, realizing that the consumer is the end, and what is the consumer, which we like to define as media, buyers, professional partners, everyone who's buying and selling, receiving your product. And lastly is the tactical part of how we work together as a team, which is the 911 versus big picture. We find a lot of time is spent in the 911 when we would much prefer to be in the big picture. The key point there being, will they recommend it to a friend? Will they buy it again? 76% of consumers don't believe advertising, but 80% of consumers trust recommendations from their friends, families, and coworkers. So this is really where we want to be working from. So some marketing truths from our partner, Lisa Covener. What's most important to the brand may not be most important to the customer. A lot of times we see things like, it's so important for it to look this certain way and be this certain whatever. The margin gets all crazy when it ends up on shelf. It's out of price point for what the consumer really feels is approachable to them. And what we feel as creative that we're responsible for is these peak pieces to really get you sold in and then get you sold after you're on shelf, which is the aha moment, the relevancy and the authenticity to the consumer, and really having it fit with their lifestyle. So when we're shooting in the dark and just making it pretty, we don't feel that we're strategically as prepared to really make that aha moment impactful to them. And third, less influential but not unimportant. Certainly your retailers and your sales and distribution need these materials, but is the traditional marketing, the advertising, direct mail, direct response, trade shows, catalogs, lookbooks. And usually what we find is that brands come up to us directly for that piece, directly for these less influential pieces, which are still necessary, but what we try to do is partner with our marketing people and other team members to sort of round out that picture and help us get closer to understanding the consumer before we start the design process.